Hello and welcome to Star Citizen. My name is Evenlease, and today I am starting a new series where I take two ships and pit them against each other using numbers, using time trials, and a multitude of other things just to see if they actually compete, and if they do, which one's the better of each one. And as always, these are just my opinions on both these ships. Starting off, we have the Cutlass Black, which on the store you can pledge for $110, or you can buy it in game for $1,385,300. Next, you have the MISC Freelancer, which is also $110, or you can buy it in game for $1,697,600. aUEC, of course. Now, this video is to show potential buyers and, people that already have one of these ships, what they could be missing out on with the other ship, or what they might want to choose when they're picking one of these for the first time. Now, the Freelancer on the left side of the screen and the Cutlass Black on the right side of the screen, they are both favorites among many, and they are great ships. They both do pretty much the same right now in game in a way. The Cutlass is used a lot more often, but the Freelancer definitely has its benefits. So let's go ahead and start and get into what benefits each ship has, starting with, from ramp to cockpit, the Speedrun. From here, I'm going to show you just how fast it takes to go from the bottom of your ramp on the Cutlass and the Freelancer to the cockpit chair in an emergency situation. Let's go. Starting off, as you make your way through both ships, you do have a single door preventing you from getting through to the cockpit. Oh, the Freelancer has another door and another door. And we're finally in the cockpit on the Freelancer. You're already taking your seat in the Cutlass, and you've made it at 13.15 seconds. The Freelancer at 16.12. There's not much of a difference there, so I'd say it works out with both of them. Let's move on to the walkthrough of the cockpit and the living area. This is great in both ships, so it should only take a quick moment to see what you get in both of them. Starting off, I'm going to start with the Cutlass Black. Now, in the Cutlass Black, you do have quite a few necessities, from an ammo rack right here with multiple places to put a rifle and a handgun, to a bed situation here, and then you also have access to your turret, which is good for your friends, and then your general storage, and right there's the cockpit. Easy access. There's nothing wrong with having easy access to any of this, especially when things get more physicalized, so that's always good to see. Now, moving on to the Freelancer, you also have the cockpit with 4 chairs instead of 2. And then if you move down here, you have 4 beds, and then further down, engineer station and a side door, as well as a kitchenette and a bathroom. The bathroom is something the Cutlass Black doesn't have because they expect you to crap on the floor. Now, or in a bucket, but we don't have any LTI buckets yet. As you can see, the Freelancer has a great easy access cockpit and living area. Now let's move on to full speed in what time? No boost. Basically, what this challenge is to see from 0 to top SCM speed how long it takes for your ship to get there. I did time it, of course, because I wanted to see, and we're not using any boosters. So the whole point of this idea is, let's say for some reason your boost system is offline and you can't use that boost. How long is it going to take you to get to full SCM speed? And these things could change with master modes, but with what we have right now, it took 16.11 seconds for the Cutlass Black and a top speed of 1,113, and it took the Freelancer 24.79 seconds with a top speed of 1,004. Pretty big difference there. I think I'd choose the Cutlass in this situation. Let's move on to weapons and mixed potential. I need ammo. And the reason why is because they both have their benefits. They both have fully gimbaled weapons, which is great. The Freelancer doesn't have ballistics, so no worries about ammo there. The Cutlass does, and it is limited on the ammo for now. The Freelancer has limited capacitors, while the Cutlass doesn't. The Cutlass only has size 2 guns, while the Freelancer has size 3 guns. But, stock weapons here, you have more DPS in the Cutlass Black due to the ballistic weapons package than you do the Freelancer. With the Freelancer, you never have to worry about ever going back to reload, as it is just laser cannons, so that is pretty awesome by itself. Freelancer sits at 928 stock DPS, while the Cutlass sits at 1,733. Now, these weapons are good, and you can definitely upgrade them to have better potential, which we'll get into in a segment in a little bit. Moving on, we're going to go ahead and see what sits ground vehicles. Basically, what type of ground vehicle can you put in the Freelancer and the Cutlass Black? Well, I'm about to tell you exactly what ground vehicles can fit in the current game. Starting off with the PTV, the STV, and the ROC, which is the ROC, the ground mining vehicle. And then you also have the Mule, and you have the hovercraft series like the Dragonfly, the Nox, the Hover Quad, and the X1. These all fit in a Freelancer, which is amazing. And I will say right now, nothing better than being able to fit a ground vehicle in a ship like this, because you know what? You need them sometimes, and maybe you want to have a mining profession. With the long hull of the Freelancer, you're able to fit them in a row, but you have to be careful because of the fact that the hull is long and kind of thin. So you won't be able to really maneuver around the inside of there, depending on what ground vehicle you're fitting in there. Now, let's go ahead and move on to the next ship, of course, the Cutlass Black, and see what fits in there. Now, of course, everything I just listed obviously fits in a Cutlass Black, and somewhat a little bit more, because you can also fit a Cyclone in the Cutlass Black because it does have a wider ramp area than the Freelancer, which is pretty awesome. So everything I just stated, and the Cyclone and its variants, which is really awesome because now you have even more you can carry with the Cutlass Black. So far the Freelancer is I feel like a little bit behind in certain things, but you know what, the type of ship it is, it's also a much smaller ship. So while the Freelancer is smaller, it can still do just as much as the Cutlass Black. Well, not just as much, but close to, right? But it's pretty darn close. So, I mean, they're not far off in competition so far. You know, you got a little bit of a speed difference. The weapons are a little bit different. You know, I feel like it can go both ways. And I feel like the Freelancer, well, it's not even I feel like, but the Freelancer is smaller than the Cutlass Black. It's got a smaller profile, and it's just got an overall smaller size. Now, moving on to the numbers for both these ships, starting with the Cutlass Black, you have one shield generator emitting 9,000 shield HP, and that shield is front and back only. And then your ship has 36,242 health, as well as a top speed of 1,114, and the max pitch yaw roll is the same on the Freelancer. Your quantum fuel is also the same at 2,500. Now, this ship has smaller weapons than the Freelancer, so you just have to decide on how you want to go about that, but it has much bigger capacitors due to this weapon size, and you have a lot more missiles on the Cutlass Black. Now, moving over to the Freelancer, you're going to see that this ship does have two shield generators giving you 18,000 shield HP, front and back as well. And then the ship has 30,200 health. So a little bit less health, but a lot more shield. Now again, like I said, the max pitch, yaw, and roll are the same. The quantum fuel is the same. The weapons are bigger, gimbaled still, but bigger, and you have less missiles. But those weapons can definitely be something to upgrade and make this thing quite the fighter. Now, both ships do have variants out there that are much different than their base counterpart, but we're just going after these two for right now. Based off the numbers and everything you see, the Freelancer, as you can see on screen, it does have quite a bit going for it. 30,200 HP, 18,000 shield, 985 stock DPS, 1,005 top SCM, 66 SCU of cargo, fits ground vehicles including the ROC, and has a much smaller profile than the Cutlass Black. Looking at the Cutlass Black, it does have 36,242 health points, 9,000 shield HP, 1,733 stock DPS, limited by the ammo count of the ballistics for right now, and then 1,114 top SCM speed, only 46 SCU of cargo space, and it fits ground vehicles including the ROC, but a much bigger profile. So if you really were to go after both these ships and say, you know, which one's better than the other, honestly, the Cutlass Black has much bigger fan base than the Freelancer, but they both do a great job at what they're meant to do. The Freelancer does much better at carrying a lot more cargo, while the Cutlass Black is more of a, hey, I want to jump into a terrible situation with people on my ship. And with that, I will give you a demonstration of what I mean while we look at the interior cargo space of both ships before we end this video. Starting with the Cutlass Black, as you can see, this is the cargo hold where you will hold your cargo and your ground vehicles and whatnot. Now, this ship also has jump seats for your passengers or if you're having to transport people, and it has 6 of them. This is something the Freelancer doesn't have. This is what makes this ship a better raid ship. Also, this ship has 2 side doors as well as physicalized buttons everywhere for all these things, which is awesome. More physicalization is always great, and we have a lot more of it coming to the verse soon, but this would be the interior cargo space of the Cutlass Black. Let's go ahead and move on to the Freelancer. So right here is the initial cargo room, which can carry some of the cargo, and then you move on to the main room, which carries the rest of it. Now there's no jump seats back here, and it's pretty straightforward. It's a medium cargo hauler, so you get what you get, and here's your turret access for your turret. Now, that's as simple as it is. It's one big straight line, kind of like the Cutlass Black, but the Cutlass Black is a lot wider. You also have the top entrance here for your, airlock, if you needed the docking ring, dock and everything, and then you have a side entrance here. So, after everything, you've seen the Cutlass Black, you've seen the Freelancer. What do you really think of both ships? Because when I look at them, I see 2 ships competing in the same market. And the reason being is their price, what they can do, and how they do it. You can go to bunkers with both these ships. You can do raids with both these ships. You can do cargo with both these ships. A little bit more with one compared to the other, but that goes, without saying with many of the other things I just mentioned with the other ship as well. I personally feel like either ship is a good ship to go with. You can have fun with either of them, but the Cutlass Black is probably going to do more for you in the long run than the Freelancer, at least in the current state of the Freelancer, as it does need a rework and it needs a gold standard pass, just like many ships in the game. But the Freelancer is also an amazing ship as well. I advocate for both of them because I love both of them. I grew up with the Freelancer in this game. You can actually see the original Freelancer on a video way down on my channel if you really wanted to. I'll post a link in the comments down below. Now, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review of both these ships. Not really review, but overview. Let me know what you think of them down in the comments below. Which ship do you have? Do you have them both? Which one do you prefer? I know the Cutlass Black just has a lot bigger fan base, so that's what I'm expecting, and that's all right. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.